Good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Bart Haasbeek, and welcome to this webinar on APIs. Expand your service with APIs. Before we move on, let me quickly address a few housekeeping items. The duration for this webinar is planned around 45 minutes. We will ask you 2 poll questions. The recording will be sent automatically via email to you tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please use the tool and we will get back to you during the call. And if not, we will get back to you via email. If you would like to learn more after the webinar, please reach out to us and we will contact you and organize a call, perhaps separately. So, evolve your customer experience with the latest innovations. The agenda today. I will start off with an introduction of the panelists who you can see already on the cameras. Looking back in history, Isha will kick off. Then we hear from Top Air Portugal about their digital solutions. CargoAI, where will we be in 10 years? And then from Champ, the bigger picture and the key takeaways. So today's panelists, welcome. Everybody. Welcome, Isha. Isha, Sales and Account Manager within Champ, followed by Rita Rosário Garcia, Top Air Portugal, Product and Service Director. Magali, Beauregard, Chief Commercial Officer, CargoAI. And last but not least, Shahzad Aslam, VP Cargo Management. So Isha, if you could kick off and take us a little bit back in history of booking an API.
Sure. Thank you, Bart Jan, and welcome to everybody. And thank you for joining us here today on our very special API webinar. To kickstart, we actually do want to take you back a little bit in history. And as you can see, we have a very beautiful Cargo Vision Portal Wars magazine on the left-hand side, which Bart Jan has a physical copy of, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, the reason that we want to go back in time is, we're talking 20 years ago now, is to really reflect on the conversation around sort of when it started, and then take you a little bit further ahead into 2021, as well as touching on where we are as of today in 2023. So in the Portal Wars magazine, they are focusing on GFX, CPS, and ACE. And they do have a very nice quotation actually in this magazine. In air cargo, the internet age has just arrived. Soon there will be 3 online booking platforms competing for business. Now, we won't go into any further of the detail, but that's again just to sort of get us started as to where we want to continue with today's conversation. Now, if we jump ahead into 2021, this was when Champ hosted its first API webinar, and we discussed the widespread use of APIs across all industries. And at the time, there was very much a voice of the GSAs, which was to embrace new technologies, and very quickly as well. Now, of course, it was COVID times. But we also had CargoAI joining us then as well as a special guest, and there was a call to accelerate the API standardization and strategy beyond peer-to-peer exclusive connections. So later on, Magali, I'd actually like to come to you and ask you whether you have seen that become any kind of reality, but we'll hold that just for now. So let's talk a little bit about where we are as of today, 2023. Now, in just 2 years, Champ has greatly increased the number of APIs within our library, and we are connected with a wide spread of airlines and ground handlers. Now, if you're not connected with us yet, you can take a look at the developer portal that's showing on the left-hand side on the mobile, and you can go there to view the extensive library, but you can also see some other information, such as how you can complete some testing on your side. So whilst we are connected with airlines, ground handlers, we also connect with a widespread of partners, and of course CargoAI being one, and Magali will go into a little bit about the collaboration that we have and also take us further into the future to get us thinking about where we can be. But TAP is going to be our next special guest. We have Rita here with us today, and they have a wonderful, excellent example of an airline utilizing the APIs that we have available today. But they're also already thinking of the future. So for example, TAP is looking into a partnership with PayCargo and how they can utilize the CHAMP APIs for payments for non-CAS IATA customers. So this is really just the beginning of what we can do in the future. But for now, let's take a look and see how TAP is utilizing the library of today.
Thank you, Isha. So yes, indeed, welcome, Rita. If you could explain about your digital cargo solutions, please.
Thank you, Bart, and good morning to all. It's a pleasure to be here to speak about digitization, to share a little bit what TAP has been doing, what is our offer in digital services, and to discuss challenges and opportunities together with with two of our partners, with CHAMP and CargoAI. So TAP has been working in digitization in multiple fronts. And each of them requires a direct integration to extract the full potential of that digital process. So on bookings and support is where we have most of our API usage. So we have our TAP booking portal powered by CHAMP Cargo Spot portal. We have partnered also with multiple booking and digital platforms. And we have our track and trace available 24/7 at tapcargo.com. On the sales side, we have been managing quotes and opportunities through Salesforce, and our customer base is integrated also with CargoSpot. On operations is where we have been more focused recently. So we have an interface with an operational tool to increase efficiency and revenue through automated build-up. And we are also working on an automated measurement system, all of that integrated with the CargoSpot. On payments, as Isha was mentioning, we have a new CHAMP interface with PayCargo that will ensure us a better control of payments, enhancing the sales potential of non-CAS agents. And also on the payment side, most digital platforms have also developed their own wallets to allow prepayment of consignments. So in here, all the market is evolving in that way. And lastly, on the documentation side, we have also been working very closely with our customers to ensure a smooth adoption of e-freight. So as I was mentioning, TAP uses CHAMP Cargo Spot as its cargo management system. So all TAP customers and partners may benefit from CHAMP's API library that Isha was showing a bit ago. Which is an easy and reliable integration solution. We have that experience. Within this API library, we currently offer 8 exclusive APIs for direct integration with CargoSpot. These APIs are spread along the entire customer journey, reaching all stakeholders involved on the cargo supply chain. On the booking and creation stage, we have available 3 APIs. So the availability and price to deliver a quote for a flight with available space. The get flight capacity to for instance, to feed dynamic pricing engines, and the create booking API. So the main users of these APIs are digital platforms such as CargoAI, CargoOne, WebCargo, but more and more customers and GSAs also are willing and are looking for us to make direct integrations to CargoSpot to increase their efficiency and response speed on bookings. Then after the booking is made, of course, it can also be updated and canceled through API, and we can monitor all the entire process of the transport through through the track and trace. It is also possible to retrieve booking lists according to such criteria, and this of course is very useful for some of our partners, and to retrieve booking details for a given airway bill. All of these 8 APIs can be easily accessed, all the documentation through the SHAMP developers portal, which it is very easy for our partners and customers willing to test and access using mock data, and we believe it truly speeds up the process for a new integration. We truly believe that integration is a competitive advantage in this digitization process. So in case you are looking for integrating with TAP, please get in touch with us and we will be glad to analyze your request.
Thank you, Rita. So yeah, that is a clear message. Get in touch with TAP if you would like to connect it. It sounds like a really powerful suite of APIs, and that it is a big difference compared where we were, let's say 20 years ago, but also where we were 2 years ago even. Of course, we had APIs 2 years ago, but the library is much larger at the moment. So let's get back with some questions later on to Rita as well. Audience, if you have some questions, now is the time to ask. And in the meantime, let us ask you 2 questions. I will raise a poll now. And the first question is quite simple. Are you using APIs today? Yes or no? Answer. Are you using APIs today? Let's see, the first vote has come in. So that's good. And now it's rapidly increasing is the percentage of the number of votes. We still need many more, so please do not hesitate. And later on, we will also hear more about other technologies and what the future will bring. Okay, so we have a very high percentage of votes. That is very, very good. Let me share the results. Share the results. So, Shaz, what is your view on this? Maybe you're on mute, Shaz, I don't know. If not, Isha, do you have comments on this?
Sure, I would say that I'm not technically surprised. I think we have an excellent amount of answers that say yes, and there of course are some airlines, ground handlers, some in the market that need to as well first start using the API. So I would really encourage you to then contact us as well to see how we can help you here, or at least to identify what your first step would be.
Yeah, so indeed, let's go to the second question. And this one is multiple choice, so you can actually select multiple answers. So the question is, which business process you see the most value in having APIs? So is that the booking process, track and trace, physical handling, document handling, or all of the above? And I know what I would vote. I would vote 2 in this case, but basically it's all of the above, I'm sure. Booking process are so many processes. Capacity, rate, availability, schedule, document handling, the pouch. We have a long way to go to get the pouch digitalized. So let's see. Again, quite a few answers, so very nice. Well over 70%, which is pretty high. Let's show you the results. So here are the results. Isha, I can't really see what the, oh, I do see it. The booking process is the winner here. Is this what you anticipated?
I would say so, yes. Often we're contacted about the booking process, and of course track and trace tends to be a very big issue. And of course consumers want to know every step, every milestone of where their shipments are. I also do like the fact that some have selected all of the above, because in the bigger picture of things, of course, they all matter, and we all need to track the key milestones. But in fact, booking process and track and trace is definitely the two that we are frequently requested for.
Yeah, and these APIs we have, of course, CargoAI is the booking process, and track and trace, you could think of premium tracking, for example.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bart-Jan, do you hear me now?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Welcome,
okay.
Shaz. Perfect. So let's move on, and let's now go to Singapore. Magali Beauregard, Chief Commercial Officer at CargoAI. And you said you would explain us a little bit more on the future of APIs and air cargo in general.
Yes, indeed. And hello from Singapore. That's funny because this is our usual caption on all our presentations, but I think today it's fitting really, really well with the objective of this webinar. So I think we have been back a few decades, or 2 decades, I think, with you, Isha, and now I think I'm going to try to take you to the future of this industry, not too far, only 10 years, if we manage this far, and to also look into then the foundations and the enablers to get there. So Bart-Jan, if you don't mind going to exactly this slide. So basically, who is CargoAI first? I'm not sure whether everyone is still familiar with CargoAI, since we are a 3-year-old organization. So we're a tech company, and we're looking at digitizing processes in air cargo. Definitely, if I look at the poll just before, we're looking at mostly booking processes, tracking processes, so all the shipment management from a procurement or distribution perspective, nothing to do with the operational side of things. So basically, I want to mention that we are a member of CargoTech, which is essentially the ECS Group investment platform to accelerate the digital transformation of this industry. And at the moment, we have many solutions, many products, but I would like to group them into 3 main suites of solutions. So we have the e-booking, so that I think Rita has also explained quite nicely in terms of how do we support the distribution for airlines and the procurement from the forwarder perspective, but also that includes tracking, also information. The second product suite that we have is our sustainability solution. I'm not going to spend too much time on this today, but that's basically something that is becoming bigger and bigger, but I will also explain why in the next slide. And the third point is obviously as a marketplace, as a data aggregator, data integrator, if you want. Business intelligence is key for us. It's key today, and it's also meant to become bigger and bigger. I included a short map now of how the core integration is done and sits within our core business model. So you can see that basically CargoAI sits in the middle of that picture, where we have on the one side the airlines or the GSAs, ERP systems, so CHEMP, for example, in this case, or considered for us the data supplier or the product supplier, and how we basically act as a middleware, as an integrator, aggregator, and we redistribute then the airline product, capacity, schedule, rates, tracking information. We redistribute that to our customers through our various solutions, our application, which we call now CargoMart, that has changed in the last few months, our white label solution, CargoGate, and obviously also now more and more through direct integration into forwarder TMS system or digital forwarder environment through the Cargo Connect solution. So that's basically the big picture of what we do. I'm not going to spend too much more time now. I think Rita also made a a wonderful job of also explaining the way this works. Now let's take a look at the future. So the way we look at the horizon in 10 years, 2030, 2033, basically we see two main trends on the horizon. The first one definitely is sustainability, so ESG. So I think now it's quite well known that most big companies, international companies, will face mandatory ESG reporting requirements over the next few years. I think there's going to be some mandates already coming from the European Union from 2024, which actually will demand sustainability reports from all the big companies operating, even the foreign companies operating in Europe. So we are definitely going to see an acceleration of the various ESG priorities over the next year. And obviously for our company, for our industry, the climate-related transition is going to be a massive transition to operate. So we're going to see basically, we expect a lot of focus, and we are hoping actually that there's going to be an increased focus in this area. And I think one of the calls that we are making also now is also in view of company attractiveness in the context of the talent crisis that we're now seeing globally in the industry and worldwide. We really see that basically the companies that will be now quick at having a solid plan, solid transition strategy, will be actually much better positioned when it comes to attracting the right talents. So that's the first trend that we see, or the first priority that we see impacting air freight. The second one is definitely now very much in line with the discussion of today, is I think we will be seeing now an acceleration or a real enablement of that distribution ecosystem. And as a result, we will also see a lot more, I put now, real intelligence unlocked. So basically what we are now seeing in terms of ecosystem enablement, what we have, I can, for example, comment also over the last 2 years now at CargoAI. I think we also had this webinar now almost 2 years ago. There has been an acceleration, that building of that connective tissue when it comes to the distribution of airlines. What we are seeing is that it continues to accelerate. So there is sort of a leveling up across all of the airline segments. Obviously, that was led by the bigger players in the past, but now we can also see that medium to smaller players are also getting up to speed in terms of getting their ERP in place, their APIs when it comes to overall digital capabilities and tech organization. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we're hoping that in 10 years, the plumbing phase of the industry will be over, right? We'll be connected, right? We'll have that connectivity in place. As a result, we also see that adoption will rise in terms of customer adoption, and we'll see basically an enabling of various use cases. So what we already see today is, the rise of digital forwarders as direct consumers of these APIs. Definitely, we're seeing it ourselves, sort of an explosion of long tail direct connects as well. So lots of basically smaller customers wanting to consume APIs directly from that ecosystem. There will be a lot of different gains in terms of interlining. So how can airlines now better work together through that ecosystem as well, and basically materialize more revenue optimization of opportunities. Definitely, all this will create a strong basis for some AI, and definitely good use cases also when it comes to then analytics impacting revenue management, pricing function. But today, the way that we see it, we still need that plumbing, that enablement, that leveling up across all of the airline segments before we really can have a lot of AI or very powerful analytics kicking in. So basically, as a conclusion, right, for these two trends, what I see here, the big difference between sustainability on the one side and that ecosystem enablement. So the big difference for me is in the innovation. You can see that sustainability, especially climate change, is not a solvable problem without innovation, but innovation in the sense of real breakthrough. Whilst if we look at now the distribution ecosystem, the innovation there is not going to be in the technology, because the technology is there. It's now a lot more mature than it was 20 years ago, with these 3 players that obviously failed as well for good reasons. But we're going to see basically innovation rather in the business model and how the industry will move to a much more cooperative way of operating. So I think, Bertrand, if you want, you can bring me to my final slide. So the call to action, no, sorry, the one before. Thank you. So the call to action, very much like previous webinar, you know, I think now it's really time to leverage and to get access to these low-hanging fruits. So we really basically now call the airlines to leverage the great CHEMP times CargoAI partnership. We have this pre-integration, which makes basically it very easy to almost plug and play, right, to your own environments. Continue to build bridges between tech and business. This is a great one, which is sometimes overlooked. We see that basically these bridges are both a prerequisite, but also continued positive output or outcome out of the API strategy, because what we're really seeing is that this enables the right conversations, which is way, you know, beyond a pure IT project, but then really basically bring the business and tech much closer together to really materialize the transformation of their organization. And the third point, basically, you know, I think now we've been pitching for that for many years. It's exactly what forwarders can do very, very well, is basically look into how you can focus on your core business by looking into the right partners, whether it's SaaS, whether it's your partners like CHEMP, whether it's API hub solutions, to really basically focus on your core operations, on your core business. And definitely now the benefits are very well known, I would say, by the industry. You know, you expose your product, you increase the pressure in your own system, you have a positive impact on cost and revenue. And obviously there's a huge marketing opportunity as well around this. So as concluding words, basically, I would like to just make a remark, because we often hear that as the world becomes more digital, every company is becoming a tech company. And that is definitely happening in our industry as well. I think we even have some clients, freight forwarders, that say they are, they are actually extremely strong and solid in terms of tech organization. But please also look at it in the sense that it does not only mean doing your own things, building your own digital toolbox, but sometimes that also means being smart enough to choose actually the right partners to grow and enable, and really leverage the existing integrations, partnerships to really basically focus on what you do the best. Yeah, that's it from me, Bastian.
Thank you. Yeah, that was very interesting, especially on the ESGs. There is no hiding on sustainability, and I'm afraid in the air cargo industry it just has to start. Even if you look at, I'm from the Netherlands. If you see what is going on with farming here, or with transport, or with the building of houses, there are so many restrictions. All related to governance and sustainability, environment, and we will have to prove ourselves in the future as well in our industry, and create technical solutions there. And indeed, also on the digitalization of forwarders, ecosystems, there is no ecosystem if you do not communicate digitally with each other. So yeah, that is happening. And our next speaker will also talk more about new technologies and innovations. So let me welcome Shaz Aslam, VP Cargo Management Portfolio, who will explain a little bit more about the bigger picture. From Shaz.
Thank you, Bartian, and thanks, Magali and Rita. Quite interesting use cases from TAP, and also Magali to highlight. I think one of the key thing I picked up, for example, it's not about technology, and if you think about APIs, API has been there as a technology since 20 years. It's about making your systems open and digitally communicating. How can we actually utilize this technology to create a new value? Yeah, how do we basically partners with with other companies, with customers, stakeholders, to actually grow the value. Yeah, so that is the key thing here. So what we have been focusing and doing, making our systems open, trying to be more collaborative. That's why you see a lot of partners, and our API hub, which we have put as a kind of a quite modern and self-service integration service, which allows partners, startups to quite quickly connect, innovate, and bring new services to the market. If there's a service existing, like Magali mentioned about carbon calculation and stuff like that, if there's service existing, you can simply plug and play and bring it to your core system and bring as part of your day-to-day business process. So it's about bringing the existing value into your business and getting more value out of it. How can you innovate faster and stuff like that? So that's the idea behind it. Obviously, it's not only about connecting, because we have been connecting systems in airlines more than 20, 30 years ago, through web services and through APIs and stuff like that. It's about making sure that we allow to bring a new value which was not there before in the business, and that helps the business. Yeah. So if you go next, Batyan, so obviously there has been many use cases with the poll. Apologies, I could not actually comment on the poll, but as you could see, what it's not what we have seen is majority of the traffic of the APIs. Actually, on our CargoSpot system, we do approximately 50,000 APIs calls a day, every day. Yeah, only on CargoSpot systems, excluding our API hub, which does huge number of volumes. Yeah, so majority of our traffic that we see today is due to track and trace and due to booking, because we have three platforms: CargoAI, Cargo One, Web Cargo, which all are quite picking up a pace. So that's majority of traffic. But nevertheless, there are many other use cases. We have connected airlines with the Salesforce. We have connected handlers with the weigh scales. There are APIs in the build-up process. If there's a tool which can, for example, help you to do automatic loading and suggest you how the loading should be done so that you can move in future towards automation, then that can be easily integrated into CargoSpot, having an IoT and stuff like that. So it's basically help to speed up the innovation, to bring the new services quickly to the live. Yeah, the other thing about this is it's about, for example, it was quite interesting what Isha mentioned in the start, that like more than 10-15 years ago, we have been trying to do online booking and stuff. But what's the difference now and then? I think one of the key differences are that how open and intelligent the systems of today are compared to previously. For example, if we talk about our new booking engine, what it can even allow you to do when the API or a manual booking hit the system, it can check, is the cargo really loadable according to dimension? What is the nature of the cargo? If it has a dry ice requirement, what's the level of the dry ice in the flight? Can it take more? Things like that. So it performs all the checks, operational checks, all the commercial checks, and all the space related checks before it can confirm the booking. And you can have this consistent rule irrespective of booking channel. And that's the beauty of the new big booking engine, which obviously allow you to have more automation and stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you, Bart. We can, I think, go to next. So what we have started, one of the idea to have API gateway for us is to we have partner program and developer partner program. So every now and then there's a representative set of companies we have put it there. For example, Airblocks is the new one which we just connected to our gateway. So what we allow, we provide the sandbox to startups, to partners, to other companies, to our customers. They can go, they can connect their apps, portals to the CargoSpot APIs, and they can try out their apps, and they can make it, bring it into the life quite quickly. Yeah. And the other thing is there are quite few partners already connected. So like Rita mentioned about Pay Cargo. So if you want to have a payment solution, there's already Pay Cargo you can connect, and it would be quite quick, for example. Yeah. So this, as I said, example, some of the partners is a growing network. We also run the developer program where we bring the startups, we do hackathon and bring developers to give them APIs so that they experiment and they try to create some new product which help our customers. Yeah, that's all on this slide, but yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes, no more slides for you, I think. So that was quite interesting. There's indeed a lot going on, and next webinar, maybe in 2 years, I don't know, we will have a graph of graphics of the increase of numbers of APIs. You mentioned 50,000 a day, even, I think you said.
Yeah, only for CargoSpot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's quite a lot, and then so let's look into that more, because that is interesting. So we are now on the question part. So if you have a question, please raise them. There is the first question that came in was about the if the recording will be made available. Yes, it will be made available tomorrow. You will get it via email, and also today already all webinars are visible on the CHAMP website. So we will also upload a link on there, and also this PowerPoint pack, the handout, will be there. So Isha asked a question in the beginning, Magali, to you. This was about your call 2 years ago to accelerate the standardization of APIs, the strategy beyond peer-to-peer exclusive connections. Has there been any standardization?
Thank you so much. I'm unmuted. So first of all, I think as a data, data airline products, API aggregator, integrator, middleware, we are in huge favor, right, of standardization, because it would just make our life so much easier, right? So we are seeing some standardization. For example, like an ERP provider like yourself, right, CHAMP, we can see it, the huge gains, right, when we need to integrate a new airline that is actually on the CHAMP APIs. It takes us, probably 2 weeks to integrate. So we're basically gaining 50% of the work, or even more, because we have that pre-integration and that standardization of all the API endpoints that can then be somehow recycled or reused, or even better word, leveraged, right? So there is definitely some progress in terms of standardization. Obviously, it could be going a lot further in terms of having standardization across the different ERP system providers, or even having a real now push by IATA to have also the one record being used out there, which basically hasn't really happened there. But at the same time, I think we, as a company, we think there's no silver bullet, right? There's never going to be like one blueprint which is going to serve, all of the various use cases out there. So we will still require some sort of, adjustments, integration work, some mapping, and basically, yeah, some work. Yeah. So that's a good news, I guess, for our developers and for our role as a middleware and as an integrator. but definitely we've seen some progress in the last 2 years.
Yeah. We of course do not have a B2B e-commerce experience in our industry, so indeed there's a long way to go still. So Rita, you mentioned your 8 exclusive APIs, and you are promoting your library to your customers and partners, convincing them to get connected and to create connectivity. What is the hurdles that you see? Is it budget or knowledge? Is it the change management? Are your customers saying we have a process, why change it? Technology questions. What is it?
I think it's a matter of focus, but what we see currently is that definitely everybody is moving into more and more integration. So this is a trend that we see on on freight forwarders wanted to connect directly on GSAs. So I think the trend is to get more and more connected because everybody is seeing the benefit. There are some markets where that are more traditional and which the change it's more slow. And we also see it on the documentation side on the transition to e-freight. But definitely everybody is getting there. So I think there's no doubt that connectivity is here to stay, and that is a competitive advantage.
Yeah. No, indeed. I like the first word you said, focus. It is all about focus, and that is what we all should be doing, and then we will progress and proceed. There are a few questions. We will raise these questions via email to you and send the answers to you. A few we can't get into during this call. Let's go to Isha to quickly summarize the webinar. So Isha.
Thank you, Bart-Jan. So of course, we've been on quite a journey today over the last 45 minutes, starting in 2003 and going all the way up to 2033, if we can say it like that. And what's really interesting and why it's important to actually start in 2003 is because it's often said that if you want to move forward and do something different, that you should also take a look back in history and see what has been done and how it's been done. So if we jump a little bit forward, we also learned in 2021 to 2023 that the CHAMPS library has greatly expanded, and we have an excellent special customer on with us today, which is Rita from TAP, who has shown us really how 8 of those exclusive APIs work today. And as mentioned by both Rita and Magali, connecting to CHAMP is very easy and it's a very reliable integration solution. So thank you to Magali as well for taking us ahead into the future and getting us to really consider about what we can do and where we can go, but also for calling us all to action to embrace SaaS solutions and also API hub solutions. Now, we finalized with Shaz as our last speaker, which also really gave us the bigger picture and the emphasis on the fact that APIs is really just a technology. It's not necessarily new, but the value that we can create and the innovation that we can create together as a community is huge. Okay, so as a final key takeaway, what I would like to ask is for everybody to really understand that we are just at the beginning and there's so much that we can do together. Thank you, Bart-Jan.
Thank you. Indeed, there's so much we can do together. Very wise words to end with. Thank you, Isha. Thank you, Rita, Shaz, Magali. Thank you very much. And thank you, audience. We will get back to you on the questions. I see there are quite a few questions that came in very last minute. We will get back to you on that. Hope to see you next time at the next webinar or one of the cargo conferences in the near future. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.